Hello everybody, this is Rebecca Jane from StitchSlowly.com. Welcome to this very exciting project. I am going to be showing you from start to finish how to create a slow stitch design, and by using Wattle Loop, which is one of my favorite kits that I think I've made about, I'm guessing by now, probably 8 or 9. And it was a way to learn how to actually create these designs. So here you can see I've completed the tracing of the sunflower onto the background. I'm going to take that off now. So removing the tape. And again, don't worry too much about fraying, because that's what this material is all about. It looks good frayed. There's a little bit of fraying that will inevitably happen as you work on these pieces. You don't have to overdo the fraying, so just be careful, but you don't have to be over careful. So here we are. I will be using the light box quite a lot for the rest of this project. Now what I'm doing here is I'm keeping this template on, because I'm going to be using this to then trace the pieces of the fabric, the flowers, on using this. You'll see how I do this. So the background, I'm going to put the background fabric to the side for just a moment. And then what we're going to do is open up, and I'll just move everything to the side. Open up the book, the very clear and detailed instruction book on how to create these. So you can read through it first, but what I do is I go to the step 1, and step A, B, C, D, E, F. So I follow what they recommend. Plus, then it helps to kind of look at the picture itself. That this is finished, and inside, this is before some of the sewing has already been done. But it even shows what it looks like when it's framed. It's really a beautiful piece. I'm looking forward to seeing it develop. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take the step. You don't have to actually worry about being able to read this at this point, because I'll show you. And then the fun part is getting the pieces of fabric out of the package, the nice little envelope they give you. And so we start with these up here, step A. So it's all the oranges. So I just take anything that's not an orange, I put to the side. We don't need a green. This is for the center, so that's the center. And what I love about Wattle Loop is that they use this fabric was, they're cuts and pieces from, they'll explain it here, but they're not, they're just like from other fabrics. So, and they're just pieces of scraps that they either have or they buy. So yeah, we're looking at, is this trying to see, I'll just put that to the side. Obviously, so we want to find the oranges and yellows and place them together. Greens, definitely not there yet. This, greens, oranges, oh look at this green, beautiful, polka dot. Look at this. Oh, it's gorgeous. And the oranges. So we're going to put these others to the side, put it back in that envelope. And I like to follow I mean, some of the fabrics are not identical to what they give you. Most of them are, actually. But I like to follow exactly what they use because I like how it looks. So what I see is that the first, there's going to be a piece of fabric here, a petal. And I'm going to start with this one. Okay? And it's, so I'm looking at the color. And it looks like it's either this one or maybe it's a little bit lighter. No. So I know for sure this color, this fabric is on for this and for this. So this is a little bit paler. So I'm going to decide, maybe that's the color. That might be it. Okay. So, and if it isn't, then that's okay. So I'm going to put these to the side. That's not a huge deal. So you use a different piece of fabric. And then I come over here and I find the fabric that I'm going to be using, which is this, right? So it's this one, and it's underneath this petal. So you want to make sure that goes on first. You adhere that on first. And I'm going to take my light box, make sure it's at its highest light, and I'm looking down, and here it is right here. And what you want to do is make sure you use as much of the fabric as possible by starting at a corner of the fabric. And I take my erasable pen, my washable pens, not erasable, washable. And I like to use the purple because that is, you know, can come off easily. It will come off on its own, or, you know, wash it at the end. So, and since it's going to be cut and placed on right away, so what I'm doing is I'm going to take this pencil, this marker, and I'm going to draw. And because I know this petal's will overlap, I'm not going to worry about it being the exact shape of the petal. And also I know this big center is going to overlap, so then I kind of extend the piece outward. So the only part of the petal I keep to its natural line is where it's not going to overlap. Okay? Does that look right? I think so. Maybe. And then I'm going to cut, make sure it's on the right side. That's often what I find. I do it and if it isn't, it's not too different from what the other side looks like. And then I take my scissor and just cut. So this is the first one, and then, yeah, it's pretty good. And then I get hold of my foundation, which you don't need the light anymore, and I place it on the foundation. So you can see there's a little overlap, and then let me get my glue stick, and this glue stick is washable as well, and I just glue it down. And here we are, number one. You're like, that took forever. How long will this take? It'll take a little while, but it's called slow stitch for that very reason, right? And so the next one, let me do, and I'm not going to show you, you'd be bored to tears if you're watching me from start to finish. But the second one is, I'm going to do this one here, which is the bright, darker orange. And I'll do this. And then just to let you know this is helpful, this was helpful for me, is I just take a pencil and I cross out the ones I've just done. so that when I go back, I'm not all, oh no, I did, that's the wrong one. This one, yeah. And then what I'm doing here, is I'm going to now, the second one, according to the instructions, and it's, so because this overlaps, you don't want to put that one down first. So I take this and I get to go to the corner because I'm going to be using a lot of this piece of fabric. They give you, you do have extra, but mainly it's just enough. So I take my, here I go again. Now because this is overlapping here, this one, I kind of go, you know, I have a little extra fabric, and then I start to draw right on the line, and it's under, and then this is another overlapping petal, so I'm going to extend that a little bit, and then because there's a big center, I'll extend that. Okay, and then see how that looks, right? And then I take it and I cut it out. This is when you need music or something. So I cut it out, and I hope that was correct. Uh-oh. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Yeah. So what I did was I made a mistake. What I did was I followed, but this is probably why I shouldn't have put those dotted lines. I really should have followed this. So what I'm going to do is I'll use that for another one because that was a big piece. So don't throw it out, and I'll do it again. So what I'm going to show you then, we make mistakes, and that's even someone who's been doing this for a long time now. I'm going to do quite a few. I'll get to at least quite a few of the petals. I'll come back and then I'll show you what I've done thus far, and I'll do a few more, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'll see you soon. Happy stitching. So let me show you where we are at this point. I have now the two centers, as you can see, and added quite a few petals, following the instructions, really trying to take it a step at a time, just like what they recommend. And I did make a leaf, which I'm not there actually yet, but I just wanted to show you how to make a leaf. And this is one which is on this corner. And you can see the little ridges, or the rough edges of this leaf, which are, if you look closely at a sunflower, that's exactly what they are. And they have those like really rough leaves. And so what I'm going to show you is I'm making one for here, which is I love the polka dots. Oh, and I just show you here that what I did was I took, I've already started cutting it out because I thought, let me just cut it before. And And let me just make this a little bit darker. So I'll do this side. So I pretty much just follow the little edges here. I make them raggedy. I suppose the word, I'm trying to think of the term, but they're kind of raggedy edges. And let me see. And you want to make sure that you save as much of the fabric as possible, because at the end, when we're finished with creating this, when you're done with all the petals and you've placed everything down, when we start to embellish, we add little pieces of fabric from the leftovers on. We layered on top of the leaves, and also some of the flowers, but mainly the leaves. So don't throw them out. Don't throw even a tiny piece out. Just leave it. So what I'll show you as I cut this. So this is, I've already cut this side. I'm going to cut this, and I use I like to use this, you can use any kind of scissor, but this just to me is the best scissor for me. And then I just create these kind of ridges. I call them ridges. I make it raggedy looking. I go in, I go out. I know that there's a video on Instagram from Wattle Loop how to do this. So if you don't quite get it from me, I think what I'll do is I'll make a single one when I make another leaf, a little 1 minute, or so you can just look at that. See, I'm making these, and then I'll eventually, and I'm trying to save as much of this as possible, and then I put it in my pile of little greens, and then you can see, right? See? And that's going to go eventually, not that yet, here. And there we go. And it's going to go underneath, so you'll see how it will be hidden. I can probably also start to do that now anyway, because I'll have another petal. See how pretty? And then you have this one that will eventually be placed on, overlapping that, hanging off the edge. So you could start to see it evolving into this gorgeous piece of slow stitching. When you see me next, I will have added more. I've probably reached the end, so I don't. But I will create a 1 minute on how to cut out these leaves. Make one of the leaves on a little 1 minute video, so that you can look at that, and then you'll see it probably completely finished in this step. And then we're going to, the next time we meet, we'll start to add the layers to the leaves. We'll embellish the leaves with the fabric, and we'll start to do the centers, which is also going to be embellished as well. So yes, that's where we'll be. So thank you so much. Happy stitching.